Imagine Europe as an enormous Lego set. Every nation is a distinct brick, varying in size, color, and shape. Each brick has its own appeal when used alone, but when combined, they can create something truly remarkable.
Welcome to the European Union, or as we like to call it, the ultimate Lego set for nations working together. Join us in this journey of learning.
We are here today to help you connect the dots, or in this case, the bricks.
Let's start.
Let's get into the foundations.
After the cruel events of World War II, Europe was in ruins. Countries were scattered like Lego bricks, separated and disconnected, struggling to rebuild.
But instead of each country building their bricks alone, they decided to create something whimsical. The leaders decided, what if we can join our bricks and create something stronger and more unified?
The European Union. It started off with a small set of bricks: France, Germany, Italy, and others coming together to form the European Coal and Steel Community in 1951, laying the foundation for today's EU.
The idea was very simple yet revolutionary. By sharing resources and connecting industries, we'd make war between us not only unthinkable, but impossible.
And it worked. By cooperating, we started building trust and prosperity. This first step showed that we can achieve so much more when we work together.
From these early days, the idea of Europe as a shared project began to grow. It wasn't always easy, but this foundation paved the way for the EU we know today. On November 1st, 1993, it was founded. A foundation built on cooperation, trust, and the belief that when every piece comes together, we can create something extraordinary.
Now that we've built the foundation, let's talk about how this Lego structure stays strong and powerful. Every building needs a solid framework, and for the EU, that's its institutions.
Think of it like a big Lego set. Each institution is like a key part of the structure, designed to perform a specific role, to click in perfectly. Together, they keep everything running smoothly.
First, there's the European Commission. It's like the project manager of this Lego build. It proposes new ideas or laws to make sure everything fits and clicks together.
Then you have the European Parliament. Think of it as the voice of the people, elected by citizens to represent them and approve or reject new laws. They're like the builders who decide how to shape and structure.
Next, there's the Council of the European Union. These are the representatives from the governments of each member country. They act like quality inspectors, making sure the laws work for everyone. It's where the leaders of all the member states meet to set the direction for our Lego city. To make sure everything's fair, we have the Court of Justice of the European Union. It is the referee, resolving disputes and ensuring all the bricks follow the same rules.
And finally, there's the European Central Bank. It handles the euro, like the treasure chest of coins that keeps this Lego economy moving.
Each of these institutions has its own job, but they're all connected, like pieces in a Lego set. If one part doesn't work, the whole structure could wobble.
That's why it's so important for these institutions to cooperate, to keep the build steady and help it grow.
Together, they form the backbone of the EU, a structure designed not just to stand, but to thrive, even when times get tough. And here's the exciting part. These institutions don't just sit there, they're constantly at work, deciding how to manage the EU's responsibilities. But who decides what? And how do we know which piece the EU can build with and which belongs to the member states?
That's where competences and decision-making come in. Let's break it down and see how the EU and its members share their bricks to get the job done. The EU's power is based on something called competences. These are the areas where the EU has the authority to act. But just like in any Lego build, not every piece belongs to the EU to control.
There are three main types of competences: exclusive competences, shared competences, and supporting competences. Let's talk about it. Exclusive competences are like those special pieces that only the EU can use. For example, things like trade, competition rules, and customs. If a decision involves these areas, only the EU can act. No one else gets to use those pieces.
Then we have shared competences. This is like a collaborative build. Both the EU and the member states can act, but only when necessary. For example, areas like environmental protection or social policy. The EU can set rules, but individual countries can step in to add their own pieces where needed.
And finally, there are supporting competences, which are more about helping out rather than taking the lead. The EU can encourage or support member states in areas like education or culture, but it doesn't have the power to make binding rules.
Now, all of this sounds a bit complicated, right? But it's crucial because it determines who can make decisions and how those decisions are made.
And when it comes to decision making, there are two main processes: the ordinary legislative procedure and the special legislative procedure.
Let's start with the ordinary legislative procedure. It's the most common way the EU makes laws. It's like a team of builders working together. Both the European Parliament and the Council of the EU must agree on decision before it becomes law.
It's a bit like a joint decision. Parliament represents the citizens and the Council represents the member states. They debate, compromise, and if they both agree, the decision is made.
But not every decision follows this path. Sometimes, for more specific issues, the special legislative procedure kicks in. Here, one institution, usually the Council, takes the lead, with Parliament only giving input.
These are used for areas like foreign policy or tax matters, where the member states want to keep more control.
So whether it's shared decisions or one institution leading the way, the EU's competences and decision-making processes help keep everything balanced.
That balance is key because it ensures that while the EU has the power to act where needed, it also respects the sovereignty of each member state. Together, they decide how to build and shape the future of the EU.
Next, we'll take a look at how all these decisions come together in the real world to impact daily life, and how the EU's work benefits every citizen. Now that we understand how decisions are made and who holds the power, let's take a step back and look at the most important part of the EU, the people. After all, the EU is built for its citizens.
The concept of European citizenship allows people in the EU member states to not only be citizens of their own countries, but also part of a larger European community. It's like adding a new layer to the Lego set that connects everyone, no matter where they come from.
European citizenship isn't just about having a passport. It gives you rights that go beyond national borders. For example, you have the right to live, work, and study in any EU country.
Imagine you're a Lego citizen from Portugal, and you decide to move to another EU country like Spain, France, or Germany. As a European citizen, you can pick up your pieces and build wherever you want, without extra barriers or restrictions.
And it doesn't stop there. European citizens also have the right to vote in European Parliament elections, no matter which country they live in. So even if you're a Portuguese citizen living in another EU country, your voice still matters in a larger European community.
You can also vote in local elections, depending on where you live. And if you're a Portuguese citizen living abroad, you have the right to be represented in the country where you reside as well.
In a way, this means that no matter where you go in the EU, you're always connected. It's like having a universal Lego piece that fits perfectly with any set anywhere.
And if you have a problem with your rights, the European Union also gives you access to justice. You can turn to the European Court of Justice if your rights are not being respected, whether you're in Portugal or any other EU country.
That's the power of European citizenship, helping citizens not just within their own country, but across the whole EU. It's the glue that holds everything together, creating a sense of shared identity.
And the best part, European citizenship is not only about rights, but also about responsibilities, like respecting the law, democracy, and values that the EU stands for. In the end, European citizenship connects us all, no matter where we're from. Whether you're a Portuguese citizen in Lisbon or a European living anywhere else, we're all building something bigger together.
So whether you're working on a new Lego set or just enjoying the European community, you're a part of something much bigger than yourself. And together we can make it even better.
We've seen how the EU works from its foundations to its decision making. But the most important part of all of this is you, European citizens.
As a European citizen, you're not just a part of your own country, you're also a part of something bigger. A community of over 450 million people across 27 countries. Whether you're in Portugal, Greece, or any EU country, you're not just building a future for yourself. You're contributing to a stronger, more united Europe.
So the next time you think about what it means to be European, remember, it's not just about borders. It's about being part of something bigger, something we all build together.
Thank you for being part of this journey, and remember, European citizenship is a right, a responsibility, and a shared dream.